Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3330 40. I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah. Today's date is 28th of February 2025. It's been almost like a night at 10:38 p.m. All right, we directly jump into the question. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay, yeah. Question is, how can one artistic work express both the mind and soul? Okay, that is a really good question. Okay, where is this question came from? Okay, a couple of days ago I was actually watching the Demons of Leonardo. It's a web series regarding about Leonardo da Vinci. I am really fascinated regarding about the way that he thinks the Leonardo. By the way, if you don't really know who is the Leonardo, Leonardo da Vinci is the person who actually draw the world famous painting Mona Lisa. Okay, and he is not just a painter; he is master of multiple things. By the way, while I was watching, I was literally influenced by the thought process of Leonardo. I wanted to think like him. So I went to the ChatGPT and asked that he suggest me such a question so that I would think like Leonardo da Vinci. And this is one of those questions. The question says that how can one artistic work express both mind and soul? Okay. Okay, what is exactly this question? Okay. It's not really hard. It looks little bit of hard to understand, but it's not. Okay, yeah. Okay, first of all, understand what is actually the artistic expression. Like, how can one artist work express? Okay, what is exactly the artist work express? Okay, so artist means like that ki painter, a singer, a writer, a graphics designer, a photographer, a dancer, a filmmaker, a person who kind of like a creates art, that is called artist. Okay, that art form is kind of like a something, whatever you want to say, photographer, yeah, these are kind of like a something artist. Artist expression means like that their work. Okay, yeah, means the way that they look the world or way that they do kind of like a something create the art. Example is this thing that ki a photographer took the photo. Okay, means like that ki kind of like a something how he express the artistic expression. Okay, yeah, this is called kind of like something artistic expression. A dancer doing a dance, kind of like a something artistic expression. Okay, means that artist is kind of like a expressing his art form regarding about. Okay, yeah. Now, do you understand what is actually artist and artistic expression? Now, the question mentioned that how can one mind artistic work express both mind and soul? Okay, yeah. So first of all, what is actually the mind and soul? Okay, so mind means mind. Okay, yeah, means our brain. A soul means like that our emotion. Okay, uh, still not understand? Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple of example that how does kind of like a something art or kind of like artists kind of like express their art form through their mind and soul. Okay, yeah. A dancer, let's example as a dancer. Okay, yeah. So basically a female person is a dancer and she is actually dancing regarding about some sort of breakup song. Okay, yeah. So kind of like a something, she knows all those dance form regarding about how do we supposed to move the body, move the leg or move the hand or whatever it is. Okay, she knows the dance. Okay, yeah. But one of the essence of her dance performance is about the emotion. Oh yeah, because song is about the breakup is a kind of like a full of emotion, sadness and stuff like that. She has to express the sadness throughout her art form, like the dance form. Dance is usually we represent when we are happy, but in this particular scenario she has to express dance, like she has to kind of like express sadness through the dance, which is kind of like a very difficult. Okay, yeah, you have to use lot of stuff like your body language, the way that you dance, your emotions and everything. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you, a mind means like that the way that you dance, the choreograph, the way that you move your body or something like that. Okay, yeah. And when you feel that emotion inside of you, and you express that emotion, that is called soul. Okay, yeah, do you get it? Okay. Still you didn't really get it. Now I'm gonna give you another example. A filmmaker, okay, who is kind of like a taking a shot regarding about a person who is kind of like a something a sad. Oh yeah. So in the filmmaker technique, we have to represent some sort of emotion with some sort of different technique. Example is this thing that if the person is a sad, what should you supposed to? How do you supposed to show that person as a sad? Is that key feel the frame completely blank and just kind of like put that person, only that person, kind of like a something showcase that this is the only person who is actually in that frame. It kind of like a feel little bit of emptiness represent little bit of sad. Okay, yeah. And try to maintain the desaturate color. Try not to pop the color, just desaturate color means like that ki little less color should supposed to be evoked from that particular scene. When you showcase that particular, it represent little bit of sadness. As also you have to put the music behind it, a sad background music, so it kind of like a represent something really sadness. Okay, yeah. So basically, the technicality that I told you regarding about the frame composition, the background music, the desaturation, everything, these are my minds. Okay, because I am kind of like a somewhat filmmaker. I'm sure supposed to say as a somewhat. Okay, I do have little bit knowledge regarding about filmmaking. So yeah, I am kind of like a somebody using my mind to telling the using my mind to kind of like a create that particular scene like a frame saturation frame angle वगैरह and the emotion is kind of like a represent through that particular actor like he was sad and everything. So basically this is kind of like a stuff our the technicality part is kind of like a control by our mind, and kind of like a some emotion part is kind of like a represent by our soul. Okay, but in the real world in kind of like a some our world, we actually kind of like a say heart. Okay, yeah, because let me tell you one thing, when we fall in love, we actually mention that ki our heart is kind of like a deciding our emotions, and our brain is kind of like a deciding all those kind of like some technicality part. Okay, yeah. Okay, but in this question they kind of like replace heart with a soul, which is somewhat okay. Okay, which is somewhat also okay, yeah. But now the question is that ki how does kind of like a something, how can artists express both mind and soul together? Okay, yeah, mind and soul together, how do we supposed to express as a kind of like a something, a mind and soul together? Yeah, like basically, as I mentioned, dancer, when she was actually performing a dance, she kind of like executing the choreography that she was at practice. So basically, she was kind of like somebody using her mind to create that particular act. But as also she is also feel little bit of sadness. But I think that na ki dancer is not a kind of like a something artist who could kind of like express that thing. Let's say singer हो गया, a songwriter singer हो गया. So basically is this thing na कि example is this thing, there is a guy who is kind of like a somebody has a passion of singing. Okay, yeah, and he also wrote his song, by the way. Okay, yeah. So suddenly what is actually happened that he fall in love with someone else. Okay, yeah. And other person is also like a like he proposed that thing, so he's kind of like a feel really happy, he fall in love like a when we fall in love we kind of like a feel really happy, something like that. Okay, yeah. So he decided that he wanted to express that emotion through his song. So what he kind of like a doing, he was kind of like a writing some sort of song. Okay, yeah. So in this particular thing, when he was writing, he was kind of like a deciding about the rhymes and stuff like that. These are technical part, but the all the words that he was actually putting is emotion, means like that ki how does he feel regarding about that other person, and how does he like that person or love that person. He was kind of like expressing those in the words. That is called soul, means emotion. Okay, yeah. And the rhymes parts and everything, like all those words should supposed to be rhyme at the end of the stanza and something like that. That is called technicality, means like that mind. So in this particular process, that particular songwriter is actually using soul and mind together to create a kind of like a something artistic expression. Okay, yeah. Now that particular person who wrote that particular song, and now he tried to sing that song. Okay, so when he tried to sing that song, he took the guitar and tried to sing that particular song. So when he tried to kind of like a something do this particular process, while kind of like a playing the guitar is a technical part, means mind. Okay, yeah. But the every word that he was actually saying from his mouth is represent some sort of emotions, and that emotion is kind of like a represent a soul. Okay, do you get it? So in this particular artistic expression, that particular guy is actually using mind and soul together to create a artistic expression. Okay, do you get it? Okay. um it also resonate with the most of the things, like basically this thing, every artist is kind of like a something leave is kind of like a something a significant touch. What's a significant touch? A significant touch means like that ki we actually understand that ki this is kind of like a something expression, or kind of like a something art form is represented by this person or that person. We understand that by just looking at particular art form. Okay, yeah. Like the dance, the photography. Okay, like there is a kind of like a somebody, my one of my favorite photographer named Mitchell. His last name was really difficult to pronounce. Okay, by the way, he's actually from Europe. Okay. um his craft is like a really amazing, literally. Like his photography is like a wow. Like literally I was like a really amazed by the way that he taking photos. Like basically this thing na ki he was kind of like a representing, like his photo is not kind of like a something all good. No, his photo is kind of like a something like telling some sort of message, and that message is a kind of like a something very unique and very something that it touch. Okay, yeah. So it's something really good. Okay, so while he was kind of like a doing this art form, he was kind of like a went through multiple process. First of all, try to figure it out how do he supposed to take that photo. Kind of like a somebody pre-planned regarding about how do we supposed to take the photo. He went to the location, take on the camera, took the photo, and basically take hundreds of photo regarding about how do he supposed to execute that particular art form. Okay, take so many photos with so many styles and emotions and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. And when he execute that photo in the Photoshop, like came back home and bring all those photos and stuff like that, try to collecting information and do those things. It was really good. Like basically I was like a really inspired by his kind of like a way that he was taking a photo was like top notch. Okay, yeah. So these are kind of like a some couple of artists who are kind of like a representing their artistic expression through his art form, which kind of like a something telling us regarding about mind and soul. They work together to create such a thing. Okay, yeah. Every artist is kind of like a somebody go through that particular thing. Okay, yeah. Whatever the artist, like a singer, writer, songwriter, graphic designer, photographer, whatever it is. Okay, yeah. Okay, I am actually mentioning this thing is art form. Okay, yeah. Like if you are coder, means like that you are really good at coding, is not count as a artistic expression. I'm not really sure, probably, because let me tell you one thing. Artistic expression is kind of like a somebody connect with all those people. What do you mean by that? A song can anyone can absorb or anyone can consume, means like that if I create a song, how worse or how good or how bad it is, people could kind of like a somebody understand some sort of song. Okay, yeah. And they would kind of like a say that, oh, this is kind of like a somebody good, bad, whatever it is. But problem like a try to understand now, if I create the song, each person on this planet could understand some sort of song. Like a music is a kind of like some universal language as every human could understand. Okay, yeah. Same thing happened with the photography. If I took some sort of photos, people could understand that photo. In every planet of the earth, they could understand that photo. Film, same thing. Dance, same thing. Like a dancing is a kind of like a some expression that anyone on this planet could understand this thing. It's a dance form. Okay, like they are not really confused with this thing. They understand it's a dance form. Okay, yeah. But if I'm gonna say this is my coding language, like this is my kind of like a some Python coding, some people understand, like basically the people who are associated with the computer or computer science, they would understand, oh, this is a coding language, it's really good. But as a normal person, don't really understand that thing. Yeah, it's they might think that, oh, this is, I don't know, but this is kind of like a somebody is this thing 100 out of almost like a 70 to 80% that might not know what is actually this thing. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, artistic expression is a kind of like a something, is this thing that most of people are resonant. Most of the people means like that more than 95% of the people who understand some sort of expression, that is called artistic expression. Okay, or kind of like a art form. A painter, a designer, a kind of like a something is this thing. Okay, yeah. So but also I'm gonna mention over here that he like right now we are in this world where kind of like a some artistic expression is comes in such a very different way that we won't be able to imagine. Okay, what do you mean by that? Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, if I'm gonna say singer means like that a singer could sing, but right now we have rap, we have kind of like a something a fast sing, like a rap is a kind of like a something as a part of singing thing. Okay, yeah. Then probably rap. Okay, then beats. Okay, yeah, beats is also kind of like a something, beats means like that boots and taps and boots and taps and boots and taps and taps. Okay, this is also part of kind of like some singing too, because I seen some sort of people are actually doing this thing and they are really incredible. It's also part of kind of like some singing too. Okay, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki, since we are in this particular era where artistic expression are kind of like a something kind of like a something divert, or kind of like a divert means like that ki kind of like a something have some sort of variation into this thing. Okay, yeah. Like basically if I'm gonna say like a 20 year ago or 50 year ago, people could kind of like a something rap in the singing. People don't really consume that because 50 year ago no one is actually rapping. Okay, yeah, but right now people are rapping, like a rapping is a kind of like a something very essential element in the music. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a only variation is actually happening in the artistic expression. Okay, yeah. Like photography. Okay, usually people like 20 years ago or 50 years ago, people usually take photos as a portrait. Okay, yeah, but right now we have so much variation regarding about landscape, portrait, then product photography, then food photography, then like, oh my god, there are so many photography types of photography that we won't be able to see. It's a kind of like something really amazing. It's also kind of like a variation of photographs. Okay, same thing happened with the kind of like a designer or kind of like a something of filmmaking things. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, that the variation is actually happened so rapidly in the artistic expression that we might not understand what is actually the artistic expression, or how might gonna people resonate with this thing or not. Because the example that I told you before, that ki almost like a 95% of the people should supposed to be resonate with your artistic expression, that is called artistic expression or art form, right? Yeah, but right now we are in living such a world where artistic expression is kind of like a something in such a way that we won't be able to understand, or something is this thing that ki it has such a variation that probably we just can't understand, but it felt really good. We might not understand but somewhat understand, right? Yeah, like a basically is this thing na ki, let's say graphic designing. Okay, yeah, graphic design is also kind of like a something like something really is a part of designing, but it's a the initial part is a painting. Okay, yeah, as a painter, like a basically is this thing na, the people who actually paint a kind of like a something in the canvas, that is called artistic expression. Example is a Mona Lisa painting, or a kind of like any kind of portrait, kind of like a somebody painting who actually paint. graphic designer is a kind of like a only variation of painting. Means like that ki right now we don't really require any brush and canvas and stuff like that. No, we could paint on the kind of like a something in software, okay, in the Photoshop or something like that, to create some sort of graphics or create some sort of portraits or whatever it is. Okay, yeah. So it also act as a kind of like a something here, poster or any poster or portrait or any kind of like a something paint. It also kind of like a create the graphics, which is also really good. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing: graphic designer is a kind of like a something variation of painting. Okay, painting is a kind of like a something art form. Graphic designer is a variation of painting. So this is what something na, do you understand na? So so basically is this thing, graphics designing is also kind of like a something associated with the artistic expression, right? Yeah. And painting is also kind of like a something represent is artistic expression. But in the future we might not know what is exactly the variation, and people are trying so many different way, like a using multiple creation things to create some sort of variation, which is really amazing. Okay, yeah. So probably is this thing in the future we might have kind of like a somebody so many artistic expression that we might not know together, like we might not know to today. But it's a future we will have so many things, because right now there are so many people are creators, so many are people are artistic expression. Like a creator means like that na, people who actually create some sort of art form. Okay, that is called kind of like a somebody a creator, right? Yeah. But usually I shouldn't supposed to be used as a creator, yeah, because creator is a kind of like a something word should supposed to be create something. Okay, yeah. It include every artistic expression, but also it include kind of like a things that shouldn't supposed to be count as a artistic expression, but it count as a create. Means like that a vlog. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing you are kind of like a recording your daily vlog. Daily vlog is not kind of like a something associated with the artistic expression, no, but it's kind of like a create something, so that is called creator. I'm talking about the artistic expression, so artistic expression shouldn't supposed to be count as a vlog, right? Yeah. But it's just like that na, ki in today's world there are so many people are kind of like a simply going through passion and associate with their like a like form, like basically most of people have preference to do the things that they like basically 50 years ago we didn't really have that much option. 50 years ago we are kind of like a simply stuck with our jobs, and we just kind of like a do that job for rest of the life. Okay, but right now things are changed. People are kind of like a trying to do, or kind of like a only putting the emphasis of the things that they want to do, like a painting or kind of like a writing or any kind of like somebody is this thing. So yeah, and this is what kind of like a something happened because of the social media, because social media is actually kind of like a somebody giving the opportunity to kind of like a people who are wanted to kind of like a work on that particular field, or kind of like a something work on their passion and stuff like that. So social media actually giving their voice and something like that. Okay, so because of this thing the artistic expression is kind of like a simply have so much variation that we might not know together, but in the future we will have so much thing that we don't even know. It's a completely very different world we're gonna see in the future. Okay, yeah. So do you understand what is actually the artistic expression and what is actually mind and soul? Okay, yeah. All right. So should I supposed to end here? Yeah, I have to be end here. Like I thought that I'm gonna talk more and more regarding about. By the way, there are multiple points are here. Okay, yeah, we should talk about the mind, the structure, still. Okay, the structure, skill, and intention. The mind controls the technical execution of art, composition, perspective, color theory, and storytelling. Yeah, I told you. Example: a filmmaker carefully controlling the craft, scene, precise lighting, framing. Example: a poet choosing a specific word for rhymes to create the deliberate emotion and impact. Artists study form, anatomy, and proportion, but it's the mind that decide how to manipulate these elements to achieve goal. Yeah, like basically this thing, the mind is kind of like a something as a structural part, is a kind of like a something understand the technicality regarding about executing the artistic expression. All right, yeah. So mind is kind of like a doing all those technical thing. Now soul emotion. Okay, yeah. The soul is where raw emotion, instinct and deep truth emerge. Example, a musician pouring heartbreak into the song, making the listener feel the same pain. Example, a painter using a bold and chaotic stroke to reflect the inner turmoil, like Van Gogh's Starry Night. Okay, yeah, this is also like basically I'm repeating myself. Like I already mentioned regarding about art and soul. Okay, yeah, like I shouldn't supposed to be expressed. Like I shouldn't supposed to be like a, yeah. You understand now what is actually is this thing I already mentioned. All right, yeah, this is it. This then I have to end here and thank you.